Hello friends, now let us take up the concept number 26, 1.26, some important concepts. This is the last concept in this chapter, computer common sense. In this topic, I would like to explain about few programming terms which are frequently used in our programming studies. In this context, one thing I have to tell you, whenever you are studying a concept, you must know the keywords in that. Without knowing the keywords in that, if you study the concept, you cannot own it. That's why whatever words frequently you encounter in programming studies, first you understand their meaning. Thereafter, if you study any concept based on that, you can understand it fully. Otherwise, it will be half knowledge, it is more dangerous. Now, as the first concept of this 1.26, I am explaining the differences among programming languages versus scripting languages and markup languages. In your programming studies, the three words are frequently encountered and you must know the clear difference among them. Here, all scripting languages are programming languages, because scripting languages are also meant for writing programs only. Using scripting languages also, we develop instructions. So, obviously, all scripting languages are programming languages, there is no doubt in that. But what is the difference? The theoretical difference between scripting languages and programming languages is scripting languages are interpreted. That means, for translation purpose, for scripting languages we use interpreter, and for programming languages we use compiler. That is the difference. Actually, the examples for programming languages are C, C++, Java. The examples for scripting languages are PHP, JavaScript, etc. Now, what is the difference between the interpretation and compilation process? Elsewhere I explained. However, as a matter of integrity, once again I am explaining. In the process of interpretation, suppose this is a program of 100 lines. In case of interpreter takes every line and translates it. Obviously, it is executed. If there is any error, it immediately stops execution and gives the error report. Now, suppose no error. Okay. In the 59th line, again it encounters the error. Then up to 58th line, it executes and gives result. And in the 59th line, it encountered an error. Then it reports. Then you have to rectify it. Thereafter it goes. Again in 91, for example, it encounters a problem. So, up to 90th line, whatever results are generated, those are generated. In the it reports error regarding 91st line. Then you rectify, and thereafter let us say there are no errors up to 100th line, then final result will come. Because of this process, what happens? It takes more time comparatively with the compilation process. In case of compiler, what happens? Now your program is 100 lines program. All 100 lines at one shot it is compiled. Suppose there may be errors in 5th line, 10th line, 21st line, 91st line. Then all the errors as a block it gives a report. Not only direct errors, reflective errors also. Later we know in the third chapter. So, entire error report is given as one block. Then you must rectify all the errors. Even one error or 100 errors, they are one and same. Program never be compiled until unless you resolve, you rectify all the errors. Program never be compiled. Because of that, actually lot of time is saved, because suppose in your 100 lines program 10 errors are there in 10 different lines. Every time you interpret it, it reports error. Again you have to again you rectify it and interpret it. Because of all this, if you take same size of program, 100 lines of program, in interpretation it takes more time than compilation. In interpretation process you may be tired because of many times you have to correct. In compilation at one shot you can correct it. So that is the basic difference between compilation and interpretation. But one thing you must remember, both are interpreter and compiler are also these translator softwares. Already explained to you, system software. These are translator software. And one more thing I have to tell you. Simply we cannot earmark particular languages, scripting language, this language is programming language. Sometimes depending on the environment where it is executed, we have to earmark it, either it is a scripting language or programming language. This means some scripting language may be compiled, some programming language may be interpreted. Actually, Python is a programming language, but it is interpreted. So, that is why depending on the environment we have to earmark it, either it is a scripting language or programming language. Just for example, Java script engine on Google Chrome is compiled. Actually, JavaScript, as I told you, it is interpreted, it is scripting language, it should be interpreted. But JavaScript engine in Google Chrome, it is compiled. That is why you must treat it as a programming language, not a scripting language. That difference you have to identify. So, before earmarking a language, either a scripting language or a programming language, on which environment it is being executed, you have to take into consideration. Now, what is the other difference if you see and all that? Actually, programming languages are meant for writing instructions. We, being programmers, we write instruction to a computer, in turn computer will execute. In case of scripting language, it develops a script, it produces a script. The script is nothing but a set of instructions. They automate certain action. Because of that script, a set of instructions, an action is automated, otherwise it should be done by human. Actually, certain things we have to do as a programmer. Because of scripting language, it developed certain scripts and which automate certain action. Then because of the automatic action, we need not interfere in that. That is the main benefit of scripting languages. That is the basic difference between programming languages and scripting languages. Thereafter, markup language. This is a special language. Actually, for the sake of websites, markup language is used. Actually, you might have seen websites. Websites means a bundle of pages, a bundle of web pages called website. And here markup hypertext markup language. This is called HTML, the most famous markup language, hypertext markup language. Actually, in order to understand that, this is useful for developing websites. If you take any website, it is a collection of web pages. Web pages are linked up with hyperlinks, because it is like a book, because page to page it should be linked up. Otherwise, we cannot navigate, we cannot browse throughout the website. So, and that's why these are linked up, all pages are linked up. These links are called hyperlinks. Now, hypertext. First, you have to understand these two terms. Hypertext means the text which is readable by a machine, a machine readable text. Hyperlink means a link used by a machine. That we have to understand that. Here, these links among all web pages are used by a machine. In the same way, hypertext, whatever text we are writing, that is meant for reading by a machine. Understand? Hypertext. Next, you have to understand another term, markup. Markup language. Actually, you see website. Any website now you see, it is totally different from our normal text in the textbooks and all that. It is specially designed with different sets of fonts, images, etc. and all that. A stylish font and a stylish manner layout is made. So, for all this purpose, certain mechanism, it is not just typing text in that model. So, text should be properly formatted, a layout should be created. For that purpose, a certain mechanism is required, that is called markup. Using markup, certain formations on the web pages we can make. For that purpose, we use tags actually for creating every specification. Suppose a particular line with a particular fonts, particular sizes, particular spaces, you have to create. That means every element in the line you have to distinctly define. For that purpose, what we use? We create tags. So, every web page is a composition of tags, and every web page is written with a hypertext, and all web pages are linked with hyperlinks. So, this may be advanced concept, just to have a brief idea about the terms. This is so hypertext markup language, HTML. This language is meant for developing websites. That is the reference. This is not a programming language. You have to understand. Already I explained scripting languages also programming languages, but markup language is not a general purpose language. Markup languages are meant for developing websites.